Okay, welcome back to the channel. In my last video, I talked about ways that I played it too safe in my 20s, and today I'm going to talk about everything that I'm going to be changing in the next decade of my life during my 30s, because as we know, reflection doesn't mean anything without any type of action. So let's dive right into it. The first thing that I'm doing differently in my 30s is setting goals every single year so that I have direction. And setting goals can look like anything. You can have themes every year. You can have a couple different themes each year. I like to do a couple different themes. So for me personally, I do something financially, I do something physically, and I plan something under what I call miscellaneous. So it could be anything like traveling solo or competing in some competition for something that I've never done before, stuff like that. Other people, on the other hand, might stick to just their career, stick to just finances, and put off travel for an entire year. Um, People might just focus an entire year on building certain skill sets to make themselves better. I usually put my skill sets that I want to develop under miscellaneous because my skill sets apply to multiple different things. That's just the way that it makes sense in my head. You can structure it however you want. One thing that I use to kind of make this easier is a whiteboard that hangs up in my office with my goals written out in big colorful letters on a dry erase board, and I see them every time that I sit down to do something. Another thing that I do is I use a journal or a diary, whatever you want to call it. This one is specifically the 1% diary. It is from Stephen Bartlett, the founder of the Diary of a CEO podcast. If you've never listened to it, it's phenomenal. Give it a whirl. But this is quite an interactive journal, and I highly recommend picking one up so that you can crush your goals as well. All right, moving into the second bullet point. Invest first, spend later. So during my 20s, I kind of had things backwards in my mind for a while, especially after I finished paying off my student loans and cleared all my debt. I went out and I bought a new car right away. So all the money that I could be investing, I was just spending. Um, and it took me a long time to figure out the right mindset and the right approach to actually investing. And as dumb as it sounds, sit down, make a budget, and steal from yourself. Two books that I read to really change the mindset about this was I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Phenomenal book. He goes through how you should structure your budget basically, invest to have a good lifestyle, um, and then how you can spend your money as well so that you don't feel stressed out all the time and you actually have a little bit of balance in your life. So, great book, great resource. Then the other one is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I'm not sure. But Morgan wrote a phenomenal book. This is one of the best books that you can absolutely read if you want to change your mindset with money. So, for me, the way that I had my budget structured originally was I'd have all of my expenses, and then I would have what I would make at the top, what I'm bringing home, and then I would basically go about my week or my 2 weeks between paychecks, and whatever I had left after my fixed expenses, and then whatever I have on a credit card. I use credit cards to pay for everything. I pay them off bi-weekly when I get paid. I never keep a balance. I reap the rewards that the credit card companies give me for using them. So I was taking that approach, and then I was investing and saving whatever I had left over. Stupid. It was as simple as, okay, I want to save and invest X amount of dollars every 2 weeks. I'm just going to put that number right into my fixed expenses. And then I'm going to sum everything up, and the little number at the bottom is what I can spend freely bi-weekly. It's really not that difficult. And it changed my mindset entirely. It changed my relationship with money entirely. Instead of actually feeling guilty for going out and spending some money on myself and, friends or family or a girl that I might be seeing at the time, I could just do that freely now because, I found the number that was comfortable for me to meet my goals, and that was incorporate it into my fixed expenses. It was stupid easy. Um, and the other thing that I do is I do something called Financial Friday. Every Friday, I sit down, I look at my spreadsheet that, tracks my budget and everything that's coming in and going out, and I will sit there and I will write what I've spent throughout the week on my credit cards and make sure I'm not dipping below that line. Now, granted, sometimes you run into unforeseen things and you need to spend a little bit more than you project it, and that's okay. Just as long as it's not a habit, just as long as it's not every 2 weeks. Um, it's life. Stuff's going to happen. So that was a huge one. It was simple at the end of the day, but it made a world of difference in a lot of different ways. Moving on to the third bullet point. Time. Time is your most valuable asset, and you need to treat it like money. Means less scrolling, more intentional weekends, protecting focused work time, which means, you come home from work, maybe you take a shower to wash like the day off of you, grab a little bit of something to eat so that you're not full and falling asleep, and then you sit down and you dedicate that spare time after work to what is going to fill your cup, whether that's skill building, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's whatever. Just make the time after work intentional towards your goals and what's going to fill your cup. Easy. Just don't sit on the couch. That's another thing too. You sit down on that couch and it's not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere. And the couch will be there later for when you're done your work. And another thing is use a calendar. Budget your time. Say yes to yourself more. Say no to other people more. If people are in your life that aren't, how do I say this right? If people are in your life and they are not aligning with your goals, morals, values, where you're trying to head, it's probably not worth spending an absorbent amount of time with them, because it's just taking away from the life that you want to live. That doesn't mean you have to completely cut them out of your life, but you might have to lower the amount of time that you spend with them. If you have group A of friends that goes out and parties every weekend and that's not you, then you might hang out with group B of friends that talk more about business, finance, whatever resonates with you and how you want to grow your life. So maybe instead of going out 3 times with group A every month and only once with group B, maybe 3 times with group B and 1 time with group A. Whatever kind of floats your boat, it's up to you. But the best piece of advice is to make that time for yourself and make the time that you're spending freely with people that resonate with your goals. With my calendar, if people want to make plans with me, I have everything mapped out that I want to take care of, usually like a week ahead of time, sometimes 2 weeks, and how it aligns with my goals. And I will try to front load all of that work in the morning, like on a Saturday, early in the day, so that I'm finished up around mid-afternoon, go to the gym real quick after, and then I still have the rest of my day ahead of me, and it's really not that big of a deal, and I'm still making progress towards my goals. Because the older you get, the less time you're going to have, so it's really important to budget it appropriately now so you can kind of start building the life that you want to live. So moving on to bullet point 4, do hard things every year. That could be anything. Something that challenges you so much and it pushes you outside of your comfort zone. Any type of growth, mentally, physically, emotionally, requires some type of friction. So I'll give you an example. I'm not a very confrontational person, especially when it comes to fighting. But 2 years ago, I started practicing Muay Thai kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, you go into the classes, you run drills with your training partners, and then you spar. So you're getting punched in the face, you're getting kicked in the stomach. It's very uncomfortable, but it does not line up to stepping inside of a ring for an actual fight where you could get knocked out, because there's still a safety net when you're practicing in class. Sure, you could get knocked out by accident, but when you step into a ring, it's a little bit different because the main objective is to win legally in the fight. There's a rule set, but knocking someone out is perfectly fine. So you could get knocked out. I haven't stepped into a ring, but I have stepped onto the mats for a jiu-jitsu competition. And it's the same type of thing. You're not going to get knocked out, but when you step onto those mats and you have that 4 or 5 minute timer that starts, main objective is to submit the other person and absolutely dominate them. And you don't want to be the one that gets dominated because it kind of makes you feel like shit. But at the end of the day, it's more for your own personal well-being or growth, but it's still very difficult to come to terms with when you're not comfortable with that type of thing or you're not used to it. So something as simple as doing that helps you overcome a lot of stuff that's up here, which will drive you and push you to do things that you might not think about doing or you've been putting off, like me starting this YouTube channel, because you're worried about other people's opinions or this or that or whatever. When you prove to yourself that you can go out and do something that's a little bit smaller and it challenges you to grow, you're going to start growing in many other ways too. It's a chain reaction. So moving on to bullet point number 5, optimize your health early. So the habits that you make in your 20s kind of determine your 30s. And then the habits you make in your 30s really start determining, your habits in your 40s and how you're going to feel in your 40s and things like that. So prioritize fitness, your sleep, your nutrition, be disciplined. Don't cut corners with it. Make sure you're getting your sleep. Sleep is something that I still struggle with, but I'm really trying to do better with it. So I have these 2 things on. I have the Oura Ring and I have the Whoop wristband. I'm testing both of them out for a month to see which one that I like better, and I'll keep which one that I like to kind of help me get that part of my health on track, because fitness and nutrition is pretty dialed in. As I've said in my last video, I lost a lot of weight. I used to be morbidly obese. I'm not anymore. There's a lot of hard work, but now those habits are kind of ingrained in me. And at the end of the day, your health is your wealth. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're not healthy, it's going to cost you in the long run, financially, emotionally, physically, in every aspect. So make sure you're optimizing your health now. Build the habits and build the routine. Bullet point number 6, design the life that you actually want. Say yes to yourself more. This kind of builds off of bullet point 3, which was time's your most valuable asset. Say yes to the things that you want to do. If it doesn't align with your mission, think about saying no. Don't waste that time. Like, there are very few instances where I like staying out late. I like being in bed every single night, even the weekends, when it's 9 o'clock. Because I get up early and I take advantage of the free time, especially on the weekends. Nobody's bothering me. Everybody's still typically asleep. I can get a lot done, and it's genuinely helpful in achieving a lot of things. Are there times where I stay out late? Yeah, but they are only times that kind of resonate with me and what I enjoy. So I really like going to see live music. I like going to concerts. So when I go to a concert, I'm not getting home until 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I suffer the consequences the next day. I still get a little bit of work done. It might not be as much, but I get something done. But at the same time, I'm still living my life just on my terms and what makes me happy. Or if I'm dating a girl and we go out and we have date night, I'm not really in a rush to get home to bed on a weekend if we're having a good time. It's about balance. And if you know you're going to go out and do that thing and your next day might be a little off, do extra the day of and just make it clear to whoever you're going out with, or if it's your significant other, that you're going to be busy the rest of the day and you need your time. And if somebody doesn't know how to respect that, then they probably shouldn't be in your life. So yeah, nix the thing that kind of just flows right into it. Just nix what doesn't grow you. People, mindsets, ideas, just start getting rid of that type of stuff. And the last bullet point, enjoy the journey. Life's too short to constantly be stressed about absolutely everything. I spent a lot of my 20s being stressed about money, being stressed about girls, being stressed about fitness, being stressed about whatever, and I kind of lost the grand scheme of things, the bigger picture of it is a journey, and it's supposed to be absolutely enjoyable throughout the entirety of it. Are there going to be ups and downs? Sure. But at the end of the day, you have one life, and you really need to learn how to enjoy it and learn and adopt the mindset that all these little things that you're doing are steps in the direction to your main goal. And if you don't know how to enjoy that, you're probably going to have a pretty miserable life. And what kind of life do you want to live like that? It's just not ideal, in my opinion. So learn how to be balanced. Put yourself first. Make sure you're giving yourself enough time to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And make the most of it. You know, I look back on my 20s and I can't really redo them, but I can choose how I want to map out and spend the next decade of my life before I turn 40. So hopefully by the time that I get there, 40 is going to be one of the best decades of my life. It's really that simple. Just a lot of people miss the little things and they struggle with it. So that's everything that I have to say for today. If you like this video, you find it helpful, please share it. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Everything helps. This is a new channel. I would love to do this consistently. I haven't had a chance to really use my voice, but I get told by plenty of people that I have a great voice for this type of stuff. And I really just want to speak my mind and get it out there. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Again, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thank you.